Hey again everyone, and welcome back to the channel for the latest installment in our new figure showcase series, where we'll take a look at a new edition of the collection. In this case, definitely a newer release. And I am excited to get this one in hand, and thanks to a friend in the community who helped me acquire this figure. So we'll be looking at the Damtoys Poker Kingdom Extra Chapter Neil 2024 convention exclusive release. So if you've been following the channel, you know I love this line, and it's one where I have every intention of being a bit of a completist with. Now, there are a lot of hidden versions as well that just have different clothing sets, so I'm not a completist in that sense, but I'm trying to get each figure that they release. Now, for the exclusive, Damtoys limited everything to 199 figures, but there's also a standard, more readily available version as well. I'll try to flag the main differences, which overall do tend to involve his rifle and more of the color scheme of the figure, with this one leaning more heavily into the reds. For me, that's kind of what attracted me to this exclusive, so I'm glad I got the chance to acquire him. So Neil's an interesting character in the Gangsters Kingdom, Poker Kingdom lore. He's the founder of the club gang and has a relationship of sorts with Saxon, who's another character that Damtoys previously released based off of Ed Harris. And this is actually the second version we're getting of Neil, with the first one also being an exclusive that I was lucky to snag, although I haven't unboxed them yet. But they're both side story characters, which means they're no longer fully affiliated with any of the main gangs, but they're integral members of the story. So in this extra chapter, Neil actually uses Saxon's old dog, which we're also getting here to source out the hidden Saxon treasure. If you follow the line at all, you realize quickly that this little story is actually a catalyst for a lot of the stories that we've gotten with some of the other characters, so it's a decent end. So look, before getting into the figure, I will say that this is a numbered exclusive as well. I know a lot of collectors in the community like that to show actual exclusivity. For me, that's never really been an issue. I always just want the figure in hand. But it's nice that Damtoys gives you this, and to commemorate it, they give you this really thick plastic card with the embossed numbers. So for me, I got number 198 of 199. So normally, this line's main figures come with a decent number of accessories, while the side story ones are a little more streamlined. So I'm happy to see that this is a release that actually includes a decent number of accessories. Although, for the weapons, and actually for the accessories, there's a lot of reuse of parts here. But you do get a variety of them. You get some additional accessories like a hat and sunglasses, some spare hands, and the dog, which I'll tell you now is awesome and is one of the highlights of this set. But a decent package overall. And again, as the exclusive, you can see the red and gold highlights, while the base set is a more blue color scheme, with the scarf and gloves being the prime example of the differences. So I definitely love the red, but I will tell you a lot of these components, again, are reused, so I'll flag those as well. So let's jump into those pieces, and we're going to start with the spare hands as we normally do. You're not getting many here, just a few extra ones to grab the different weapons and so on. But they look nice with the sculpting to simulate red leather gloves. And there's a nice wash on these that gives you some darker locations around the knuckles and the hands. So the other thing I like is the hands do have a little bit of flex to adequately get the accessories in place, but the pegs do tend to be pretty rigidly connected, so you may need a heat gun to get those off more easily. So now let's jump into the weapons, and we're going to start with the new one that I haven't really seen Damtoys give us before, and that's the very cool looking rifle. I saw this and it immediately reminded me of the brass-framed Henry 1860 that Kevin Costner's character uses in Dances with Wolves. And this is also a different rifle from what comes with the standard. Personally, I like this one a lot more, and it just looks stunning. First with the wood grain stock and body, and the braced shoulder plate as well, as the brass plated central portion of the rifle. Strap is also held with real metal pins, although just be careful since they are small enough that they feel delicate, and the strap itself seems to be actual leather, so just gorgeous, and I love the detail work throughout, and it's really nice to have this in hand. The next two weapons we've seen before with the 3 of Hearts Bartley figure, and they're these modded up 1911s with extended clips, forward grips, and an added stock. They look interesting, very unique. I can almost be okay with reuse when it comes to other guns though, because it just makes sense. But these are so specific looking that to have two characters having them seems a little strange to me. But look, as far as the pieces themselves, they have a nice silver on the body of the guns and on the extended clips, and then the forward grips, the cover plates on the main grip, and the stock all have this very light colored wood grain to them that Damtoys just kills it, right? They always do a great job on the paint apps with these. Next, we move to the switchblade, and again, we've seen this before. This one I think is almost identical Actually, it is identical to the one we got with D'Angelo, but still looks good, and I like the gold blade. It's a very small, delicate piece, but continues to impress with the detail throughout. And next we get a lit cigar and a cigar cutter. So hate to sound like a broken record at this point, but again, these are exactly what we got with that Bartley release. So nothing new here. Again, doesn't take away from the detail work here. The cutter, for example, is actually functional, which is impressive for such a small accessory. And then the cigar. I love the way Damtoys does this with the clear plastic smoke effect. It doesn't seem overly complicated to do, but not many people do it, and it just adds a dynamic feel to the figure, even in a bit of a museum pose. So it's something that this line does seem to heavily lean into. Next accessory are a pair of sunglasses and a fedora. Sunglasses are again reused, but they look nice with the thin gold frame and the red lenses. Damtoys again leaned heavily into that red theme for the exclusive, and they did a great job matching the accessories to that. So I love the red lenses. And then the hat is a felt-like fabric on a rigid plastic body. I do want to use the hat with the figure, but I'm a little concerned that there might be some paint bleed onto the sculpt, but it's still very well done. And then you get a scarf, again red to stay in theme, and it's fully wired, so there are great opportunities there to get some great dynamic poses. And you get a pocket watch in on an actual metal chain. Scarf is a great accessory, very simple but adds so many possibilities, and it's a nice textured fabric. And then the watch, while the watch face itself is a sticker, one of the great things here is you're actually getting a metal chain. Damtoys always does a great job with the material selection on these, and they always impress. But now we're going to start getting into my favorite accessory in the set, and that's the bulldog. The sculpts and the animals in this line are all very done in a very animated, exaggerated style, with features that are a little wacky. The dogs are also polystone, so they have a little heft to them. Here, the collar for the dog is a nice metal chain with functional clasps, so it's another big difference between the exclusive. So that's the big difference here between the exclusive and the standard, is that the dog itself is a cream colored fur here, while the standard is a little bit darker. I do like this one just because it's a little different from every other animal we've gotten, so it has something that lets the details pop a little bit. In particular, the face. The face is just stunning. I love the detail here in every respect, starting with the exposed teeth. They're a little dirty and it might be caked in blood of sorts, but it looks amazing, and it even has that shiny wet look to them. And then the eyes and the furrowed brow with all the details, just stunning. In the story, he's an older dog, but looking at him, even the body, while he's short, he's stocky and muscular. Sculpting here is awesome, creating the look of sheer power, showing those powerful front and hind legs. I mean, he just looks like a massive muscles, but I keep going back to the sculpt here. Face is probably the most stunning looking ugly face they've done. I can't tell you how much I love the fact that this line also constantly gives you these different animals to kind of be companion pieces to the figures. Now, let's jump into the figure, and we'll start with the sculpt. Like I said, this line does lean heavily into that stylized element, although earlier releases did seem to have much more exaggerated features. Sculpts also tend to be based on celebrities or characters, and Neil himself seems to be based on David Carradine's portrayal of Bill from the Quentin Tarantino Kill Bill movies. And I do see the likeness there. Detail on the sculpt is great. The eyes, even though they're hidden, are done so well and look realistic, which is always surprising given the unrealistic sculpt overall. But Damtoys always sculpts these with some slight expression and personality, and a ton of detail showing the older facial features, like the slightly drooping cheeks, and the hair is also sculpted nicely with a great paint app. Now, the rest of the figure, highlight in this line is without a doubt the tailoring. Clothes overall tend to look so good on the pieces, and there are tons of layers as well to create a very nice look. And this version of Neil is stunning. So he is wearing a nice suit with a brown vest underneath and that red tie that I do need to adjust slightly. But the suit looks nice, and then the coat might be hard to see, but there's a great material choice here with a subtle pattern that recreates that tweed jacket look. Coat isn't wired, which might be the only slightly negative thing, but when you see how good the jacket looks on him, it's a total nitpick, and it doesn't detract from the figure at all. So look, it's another version of a character we've gotten before, and there are a ton of parts reused, and even the sculpt is reused, maybe just with a slightly upgraded, better paint app. So, it's not the hardest figure to put together for Damtoys, but there's just something with this one that looks great here. And like with every figure in the line, you have multiple options to display him. You can do the jacket with everything on, or you can do just a suit. You can fully cover the sculpt as well, with the glasses and the fedora or not. And with all the weapons, again, variety is the key. But for me, it's all about the new pieces. So that 1860 rifle is unique to the figure, and I'm going to want to showcase it because it looks amazing. And then the star of the show for me, and if you read the included comic, the star of the story is the dog. It's stunning and easily the best animal I think I've gotten from Damtoys in a while. It's just so unique looking, and that face completely stands out. So really a great item to display. And overall, just a gorgeous figure. And it continues the great releases with the line, even though it is a very niche set of figures. But if you do give them a chance, I think you'll be surprised at how good they are. Damtoys is actually a great six-scale company. They love doing their own thing, and they've set their own path, but I just always am excited to see what they have cooking. And it's great to see them continuing on with this line and others. So let me know your thoughts on this one, and as always, thanks for watching, and if you are enjoying the content, please consider dropping a like, comment, or subscribing, and we'll touch base on the next video.